What is the wrong way to be a parent if you have a creative child and you don't know it? And what's the right way? I mean, you're a parent.
Well, here's a good thing to do if you want to have a creative genius as an adult child. Die before they're 10. That helps a lot. So there's quite an extensive list. So if you're inclined to do that, suicide would really do it because.
Now explain. Explain that, please.
Yeah, well, there's a famous psychologist named Hans Eysenck who was the most highly cited psychologist in the world for a long time, and for all I know, still may be. He wrote a great book called Genius, which is a real study of creativity. It's the real thing, and so people just hate it because it's not full of, platitudes that will make you feel good. He says to be truly creative, you have to have a near genius level IQ, and that sort of puts you in the 1 in 1,000 range. So that's kind of annoying to begin with. That might be me.
I don't know.
and so, but he's also found that early traumatic experiences are good predictors of late creativity. Now we should also say that early traumatic experiences are also great predictors of catastrophic adult lives. So, but you can imagine the thing that people don't understand about creativity, or one of them, is that there's no reason to be creative unless you have a problem to solve. And if someone dies on you young and you're forced to fend your way in the world and to deal with that kind of trauma, you have to put yourself together in a creative manner, and it's no joke. And so early negative experiences allied with high intelligence and this kind of temperament that we were talking about is one of the things that fosters creative production. And parents are misinformed about this sort of thing because they think that if they just do laissez-faire things with their children, you can do anything you want, they'll automatically be creative. It's like that's the stupidest thing you could possibly imagine, because that isn't how creativity works. Creativity emerges when you put serious constraints on things. And so a good example of that, like a symbolic example, is the example of the genie. And the word genie is at the root of the word genius, so they're nicely tied together. And a genie is this tremendous godlike force encapsulated in this tiny little space. And in order for the genie to be able to grant wishes, it has to be both constrained extraordinarily tightly and be without constraint at the same time. It's the conjunction of those two things. And so in order to have someone be creative, you have to set them a difficult problem. Great literary figures, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, people like that, Shakespeare, man, they're solving tough problems. And someone like Picasso, he invented an entirely new way to see. It's like, try that.
Well,
that's what visual artists are doing.
Brock did, but he worked very closely with Brock.
Well,
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to be a nerd here, but
fair enough.
So let's go back to this trauma thing. What if you are your personality traits point to conservative 10-year-old and your parent dies? What happens to you? Do you automatically become creative, or are you out of luck?
You just spiral into the abyss and there's no